As I just entered the Modern Art Museum, there is a massive piece of art that captured my eyes right away. It's a large-scale painting, I say approximately 10 to 15 feet. It's a symmetrical oil painting. It contains several mediums such as clay, ash, and earth tone color paint, with a dry sunflower plant hanging upside down by its root. As you can see, the sunflower head located right in the center of the painting, slightly above the crusted bottom end, just a few inches away from the actual painting. The first thing that comes to mind is what drove this artist to make such a massive symbol of destruction. Can you imagine how long it took him? Especially with an abstract painting like this massive piece of art. To me, looking at it from afar, it signifies destruction that portrays drought, death, darkness, and desperation. And the existing of this dead sunflower plant right in the center made no sense to me at first. Looking deeper, it becomes even more challenging. The first thing I did when I wrote this observation was draw what I saw. As shown in the picture on the transcript, I see a rectangular shape passage that narrows down in the center and goes deeper and farther. I see a triangular shape with lines downward through the center and vertical lines on both sides of the painting. The bottom side is thick, crusted, and has dry surface. If you notice, it starts from both end sides and it goes upward. It creates a small rectangular shape passage that creates the illusion of the top ceiling of the passage. I can clearly see people going through this passage, which the artist conveyed with dark and black strokes that made the story more obvious to me, and they seemed to get smaller as they walked away through this tunnel. I believe that this message behind the artist's painting was religion. I thought that the place he came from was a hard background enduring a war or such. Embedding life and death in his work, I experienced it firsthand. Coming from a place with the longest history enduring wars throughout the years. This painting meant so much to me because it reminded me of the struggle, pain, and suffering that could come from going through such an ordeal. For me, it wasn't as bad, and it keeps getting worse this time around, but we still share the same feeling inside no matter how big. To my 11-year-old son who joined me in this trip, it was an android from space that destroyed Earth and killed every living thing on it. I guess every viewer has a different interpretation depending on each person's life experience. In this painting, I saw people going through that tunnel striving for hope and a new beginning. This painting seems like a challenge, but once you take the time to observe it, you get your answers. To me, it's a great piece of art that reflects a long life struggle of suffering along with a glimpse of hope. I believe that this artist gave it justice in every way. Using earth color paint along with dark stroke gives us a sense of destruction combined with different strokes of gold color that shines through. Ashes that signifies hope, new beginnings, and an eternity on the other side of the world. The artist placing a dead sunflower plant at the center of this masterpiece was a brilliant idea that signifies life from a seed, considering that this plant grows in any kind of environment, especially a drought. It conveys one single seed that becomes to life, which guides people to be hopeful and hang in there because there is hope after despair and agony. There is peace after fear, there is life after death. From a religious perspective, I believe there is a higher power in this life. God is the creator of all things, and all things goes back to him. It gives the viewer a sense of existence and to recognize the difference between heaven and earth, right from wrong, good from evil, hope from impossible, and beginning from end. I just imagined how many viewers shared this artist's struggle and ideas looking through one piece of art. This piece of art depicts every aspect of life and struggle around the world. And we can never do him justice on what a great work of art that he has created. And the transmission of rebirth that he depicted through a lifelong journey. According to the source, Aschenblume, also known as ash flower, 1983 to 1997, is composed of oil, emulsion, acrylic, ash, earth, and dried sunflower on the canvas. The sunflower placed in relief down the center of the Aschenblume, and the devastation of the whole scene. Anselm Kiefer's advanced interest in Nazi imagery and symbolism, and of his attempt to come to terms with his national identity. The work portrays the Grand Mosaic Room in the Reichskanzlei, Berlin, receding into deep space. The huge ceremonial space is empty, except for the intrusion of a tall, dried sunflower plant. In this artwork, Kiefer uses unconventional materials to suggest process of transformation, which suggests a space in a moment of transition. Anselm Kiefer has consistently returned to the book as subject matter of Judgment Day and the destruction of mankind. As a primary source of knowledge and beliefs of world religions, books are a powerful and paradoxical symbol for the artist. Eventually, Kiefer's books became freestanding sculptures and massive symbols of the artist's investigation of world knowledge through images. Aschenblume is a mute symbolic relic of the angel's call within this apocalyptic story. He depicted through the destruction paint layers, ashened earth, as a symbolic of prayer on a dry rendition of war. Kiefer worked the promise and process that creation and destruction are one and the same. This physical approach to making this piece of art explains the congruity in dryness and desperation. The monumental scales of both build up a sense of humanity and faith by Anselm Kiefer. His artwork expanded to many works of art, like the book with wings you can see at the end of this video. Another great work of art by Anselm Kiefer that you can find at the Modern Art Museum next to Aschenblume painting. My observation and conclusions of the Aschenblume art by artist Anselm Kiefer came very close to his idea by the description given by the site below. The idea that the artist tried to convey was very clear if you just take time to look deeper through a great work of art. I recommend visiting the Modern Art Museum in Fort Worth, Texas, to explore one of many great works of art. Thank you. Amail O'Day.